Welcome, guys. Today we're going to be talking about a variety of different topics. I want to touch on the UFC Apex card first, and then we're going to be talking about the UFC White House card. They announced it. I'm going to read through the bout order. I'm going to tell you guys what I think on this card, and we're going to be going over expectations versus reality of what the UFC is going to be giving us lately. And then we got the Sean Strickland versus Hamzat Chimaev fight just announced, and we're going to go over that card as well. So, starting off, Kevin Vallejos put on an absolutely fantastic performance yesterday. He went out there, walked down Josh Emmett, and Emmett was pretty much just swinging at air on the back foot, looked very uncomfortable. And yet, Kevin Vallejos did his thing, got the stoppage in the very first round, and he looked really good. He'll be in the top 10 come Monday. And there's a lot of different avenues you can go. I don't think they're going to do a Gene Silva rematch quite yet. I think that one they're going to wait to let that build. Maybe have that for a title at some point. But there's Yair Rodriguez there. I was going to say Diego Lopez, but he is on the White House card. So there's a variety of different options for Kevin Vallejos, and he's a very exciting fighter, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Now, let's read out the White House card for you guys. Main event, I did call it. Not saying it was the greatest prediction. It was pretty obvious that this was what they're going to do. Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, champ versus interim champ for the lightweight title in the main event. The interim heavyweight title is your co-headliner. Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane getting rewarded for raking out Tom Aspinall's eyeballs. So it was either reward him or reward John Jones. So pick your poison, right? Sean O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi, Mauricio Rufy versus Michael Chandler, Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins, and Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia. I don't mind some of these fights, but there's just different matchmaking I would go with in some of these fights. Like, I would have rather seen Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. That's a grudge match. That's a beef match. I would have liked to have seen the UFC make that. And Yair's been so inactive lately. What are you doing, buddy? Hop on the White House card. Um, Bo Nickel versus I would have liked to have seen Colby Covington. That would have been fun. Would have been a lot of back and forth there. Maybe they don't want a bunch of blood or heated matchups between these guys because they don't want chaos going down on fight week between the athletes when you're on the White House. You want everything to be operating smoothly. So they want reliable guys. They want guys who aren't going to be causing problems. I would have liked to have seen Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. That would have been a fun one. But I don't know. Sean O'Malley's a very big star for them. I feel like they just want to get him a showcase performance on the White House lawn. I think he's going to destroy Eamon Zahabi, who is a very good fighter. But the speed, the range, it's a completely different level. O'Malley's one of the elite level bantamweights, and although Zahabi's been on a run, he's got some good wins lately over Marlon Vera. He beat Jose Aldo. He beat a couple other good guys. Um, this is a different level of competition. Sean O'Malley is, and I think he's going to put on a vintage performance. He's either going to get a knockout or he's going to, 30-27 performance, piece him up. So, it's a good card. I'm not complaining. It's I'm happy that we get Pereira and not Cyril Khan, that we get Pereira and we get Ilia Topuria on the same card. But let me just talk to you guys because people were expecting Makhachev versus Topuria. They were expecting Pereira versus Jones. They were never going to do those. For one, they weren't going to reward John Jones with the fight he's been asking for. He's been asking for Alex Pereira, but he ducked Tom Aspinall and he, was negotiating with the UFC, promised he was going to fight Tom, and he didn't. So he really screwed them over with that fight. And they're not going to reward that behavior. They're not going to give him Alex Pereira at the White House. That was never going to happen. Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, they're in two different weight classes. And I know that people want to see the fight. I know it's a big fight, but that's not what the UFC does. Ilya and Islam are both stars. They're both champions for them, and they both have contenders in their own divisions, right? There's the Arman fight for Ilya. There's the Justin Gaethje fight, which is on this card. I know that that the fans don't want to see Charles get knocked out again by Taporia, but you know the UFC will give him a title shot if he wins another fight. He's on a 2-fight win streak. If he wins three in a row, he will get another title shot. It's just the way it is. But yeah, there's contenders for both guys and Makhachev as well. There's Michael Morales, Ian Gary. If Prates beats JDM, hope they don't do Usman, but you know the way UFC is, so we'll see. But there's plenty of stuff for each of those guys. Now, at some point, if they both clear out their divisions, yes, they'll probably make that fight, but it's just the wrong timing for the fight right now. At least that is how I think the UFC views this fight. In other news, we got Sean Strickland versus Hamzat Chimaev. Now, Imavov is pissed. He's just throwing punches at the air right now. He's angry. And I don't blame him. He's on a 5-fight win streak. But hey, his last loss, who did it come to? Sean freaking Strickland. He lost to Strickland. Now that was 3 years ago, but he did lose to Sean Strickland, and Strickland just had a very good performance against Fluffy Hernandez, right? Got a TKO win, and it's an interesting bout. Sean Strickland has great cardio, really awkward striking. He's can get up from being taken down. You never see Strickland get held down. Now you've never seen him fight a guy like Hamzat either. So it'll be interesting. I mean, you got to go with Hamzat, right? Because of how dominant he's been and how explosive of a fighter he is, and his speed and his strength. That combination of speed and strength is really unmatched across the UFC. But hey, all I'm saying is if Sean Strickland does not get finished in rounds 1 or 2, and he's able to get up from being taken down, it's going to be a problem because Chimaev, right? He went 5 rounds, but he wasn't exactly, pushed in a hard 5-round fight ever in his career. He really kind of just controlled Dricus du Plessis for the whole 5 rounds. And the Robert Whitaker fight, it was scheduled for 5, but he destroyed him in the first round. So we really haven't seen him do a hard 5 rounds before. We've seen him do a hard 3 rounds, and he looked gassed. We've seen Strickland go a hard 5 before, so we'll see how it goes. Other fights on this card: Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. That's a fun little heavyweight fight right there. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley, welterweight bout. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guzgov. King Green versus Jeremy Stevens. And Abet Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz. That's a stupid fight. But yeah, we got lots of UFC stuff going down. We got some great cards coming up. I am excited for Strickland versus Hernandez, even though Imavov technically deserves it a little bit more. It's the fight people want to see. People want to see Strickland versus Chimaev. I was just talking about it. They don't really make bad blood matchups in the UFC anymore. They don't make, the Yair versus Diego Lopez, They don't make the fights that, where there's a heated rivalry. But yeah, fun stuff coming up. I'm excited. I'll be watching it all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.